just trial it. Do 1 week where you just do one story per day and check out your views, because they'll be like triple, like double to triple your normal views.
Welcome to the CEO Stylists podcast, where two unlikely CEOs come together and rewrite the narrative of what it means to be a CEO stylist. Yovanka Loria and Kirsten Harris are on a mission, giving stylists permission to join the movement of artists breaking the mould of what is meant to be for the hair industry and creating the life and schedule of their dreams. Fast forward through many failed attempts and lessons learned in the process, it's time to level up the playing field. It's time to call BS on what's been done before. Yovanka and Kirsten are ready to share it all, defying the odds of the industry and teaching you how to do the same.
Hi, welcome back to the CEO Stylists. I'm so excited to be here today. Hey girls, hey Kirsten.
Hey, very excited. We've got a guest in the house.
We have a guest at our place. How exciting.
Welcome, Ash.
Thank you. So good to be here in HQ.
Yes.
Love being here.
You've been on many podcasts. You've been on a few now.
Yeah, not with you.
Not with us.
Excited to have this one.
Yeah, we're so excited. So I think a lot of our listeners, if they're new or if they're existing, I'm pretty sure now everyone's heard about you in the industry, social coach.
You get around.
You get around. So
it's a good position to be in.
I don't feel like I have to really introduce you, but I'm going to try anyway, because you're going to tell us a little bit about your story. But I think everyone knows that you really help. You help business owners in hair salons, create meaningful content, and you also help stylists get out of that social media slump. And then also sidelining, you've just been able to create your online course, and you have courses, and you also go out to salons and you teach. Yeah. Is that pretty much about what covers it?
Yeah. So on Insta, I'm the social coach Ash. An all-encompassing role of coaching, educating, empowering you to manage and inspire you to create better content for your business. Yeah.
Amazing. And in saying that, do you want to maybe share a little bit about your backstory?
Yeah, absolutely. So my social media career started in Melbourne. So I think it was about 2012. I was a marketing assistant for Westfield, and that was just when Instagram literally had just started. Like, we're talking, people were just jumping on board. Even celebrities weren't really on there yet.
And this is when it was a photo era.
Oh, yeah. The lo-fi filter, and it was just, you just shared a little pic here and there. But yeah, being the youngest in the team as the marketing assistant, they were like, oh, this is a new shiny platform that maybe, the youngest in the team can have a go at. So, I got that opportunity to try something out, and I think straight away I realised I really enjoyed it. Especially being young and eager and being able to be agile and not really have to get much approval, which I've always kind of enjoyed, not having too many layers of getting things signed off, I guess. So as a young and eager marketer, I definitely was like, I love this.
You enjoyed that freedom.
Absolutely. And then I think 2 years into being at Westfield, I saw the first ever social media coordinator role. So this is back at the time where, there wasn't actually social media roles yet. Wow. So this is one of the first jobs I saw on Seek, and it was for Nine West Shoes. And I was like, oh, wow, imagine doing the social media specifically in the fashion industry and doing that like your full-time job the whole time. Because as a marketing assistant, I was doing all sorts of, other marketing jobs too that aren't so fun. Westfield, you had to collect turnover from tenants. So not very enjoyable. But yeah, great learning curve. And so then I applied for that job, and I got that job. And my time at Westfield as their coordinator, that was the absolute exponential growth period of Instagram. Every brand was jumping on board. Everyone was piling their resources in, investing in it. Growth was amazing. I think I grew Nine West from 5,000 followers to 100,000 followers.
Wow, that's crazy.
Over what time period?
About a year and a half.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So it was a really exciting time.
So what year are we talking now?
Oh, gosh. So what was that?
It's like
about
testing.
2015?
Yeah. It's still in Melbourne.
Yes, still in Melbourne. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So, spent 2 years there, worked up to be a social media manager. Then I worked for an agency for a while, so dipped my toes in agency life, managing, lots and lots of social media accounts. And then I moved back home to Adelaide. So, and in Adelaide, that's where I got approached from Hair Care Australia. So, obviously knows Hair Care Australia well, or Hair Care Group now that's called. But back then it was Hair Care Australia. And that was my foot into the door, I guess, of the hair industry. So that was, I think, about 6 years ago now. And I absolutely just fell in love with it. I try to remind all my clients or anytime I educate how special and talented our industry is at social media. And that's why I'm able to have a job coaching because
I love that.
Because you are creative visual people with an innate skill to
Who
use the
generally
platform.
love doing what they're doing.
Absolutely. So finding the industry was amazing, and I feel really lucky because I was able to find a career path into educating where, I find it a lot more sustainable for my long term, raising a child. Being one of the first people to ever have a social media job, it was always a bit scary of, where does this go? What's the end role? And I'm lucky that I found an industry where I found a role where I could, I guess, get off the tools. So, while I was at Haircare, I was managing 27 social media accounts.
What?
Yeah.
27?
Add them all up, yeah.
Wow.
So under Haircare Australia, we manage the brand's accounts too. So Olaplex, Cloud9, Lakme Colour, Evo Hair, Haircare Australia as a brand itself.
And then you obviously had a team under you as well?
Yeah, but not to start with. I had to, prove
Wow.
myself.
Of course.
Yeah, so, and that was a really great in-house position. I was able to get promoted to social media marketing manager and have 3 social media coordinators underneath me. So I feel like I kind of got to my capacity at in a head office role as well. And I was still, in those accounts, checking how things were performing, writing back to
Even before
reply,
then, when we didn't even know what
yeah.
insights were, you were right all over it.
Yeah, and dealing with the micromanagement that any big corporate company has, opinions on posts and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, I had an amazing time at Haircare. Absolutely loved it. I got to go to Barcelona, Numia, so many fashion weeks, photo shoots. Absolutely loved my time there. And I was just ready for that next chapter and aware of the possibility of burnout and being present for my daughter.
And I guess then you also realised as well that you could actually help other businesses.
Definitely, yeah. So there was always, I guess, during being at Haircare, I was managing the brand strategies on social, but there was always this kind of desire that the clients wanted to learn from me. So I did a couple of little things here and there for Haircare, but it was very much not a huge part of the role. And I definitely thought this could be a full-time job.
Yeah.
This is the ability to be its own person doing this. So I had my daughter and I launched my business when she was 2 months old.
Wow, I love that. And I always say to Kirsten, it takes a special person outside of our industry to be able to connect with our industry, where they look to you for advice.
Yeah,
and I think that's a special testament to you that you've been. Our industry really does.
Yeah.
Like they always say, if you need social media help, you're one of the people that has always come up.
Yeah, and look, to be honest, we all struggle with imposter syndrome and being good enough. I do worry sometimes. I'm like, will people not want to work with me because I'm not a hairdresser? But I actually think that's my kind of superpower. Yeah, like I've actually...
You bring something... Do you know, it's funny because I actually went to go see Stephen Bartlett a couple of weeks ago when he was here.
It
was so good. And that's one of the things that he said. And I think, honestly, because people ask, how have you been able to achieve what you have achieved? And it was funny because when he said it, I was like, I didn't even realise that that's what I was doing and what people need to tap into. And one of those things is we all get stuck on learning what we know, and we even in hair, we keep just learning hair. But no one ever goes outside that to learn a complementary skill, like a rare complementary skill that you can bring to the table.
Absolutely.
So I think that in sense, you should never have imposter syndrome because I think everyone now is learning.
Oh, absolutely.
That we all have, what we say, everyone has their special zone of genius and you can't do it all. I feel like the younger generation probably tapped in more to the social media. They're probably a little bit more fluent than us old school hairdressers. Do you find that it's a lot harder to work with maybe like the old school hairdressers?
Sometimes there's definitely education that they need a little bit more
help,
stepping back and stepping through things a bit slower at a slower pace, a little bit less intuitive, I guess. But I think the biggest driver is being passionate and being open to technology.
Correct.
I think as soon as you start to fear it and get angry at it, you're closing the opportunities.
Yeah, and I think we've both felt that. I know I have.
And it's a normal reaction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Ash, I follow you. I've been following you for a long time, and social media, although I've got a marketing agency, of all of my weaknesses, social media is it. And I often think it is a generational issue, and I didn't want that to be a barrier. And one observation I've made about what you do is you're extremely generous with learning, like with teaching free stuff.
Yes,
Which I think's amazing.
Yeah.
But something funny, and I'm sure you know about this, but you put out a post a couple of weeks ago about don't post your available appointments in your stories, do it in broadcast. And I think within...
Caused quite a stir.
Oh my gosh. Was that the intention?
You put these things out and you don't know what's going to stick.
And I assume it's because you put that post out, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I reckon within 72 hours, I had so many broadcast requests from hair salons.
Yeah.
I went, this is going to be because Ash has put this post out. Don't put
But it makes sense.
so the power of like that whole community.
Yeah.
But I really commend you on that you give a lot away.
Yes, yeah. And look, there's definitely points where I'm like, I probably want to wean that back a little bit,
because
maybe.
you don't want to do it for the
Especially-
sake of oversharing.
Yeah, but I think being connected in the industry, I remember Mia from The Secret Fox, she once said to me, the secret to success is sharing the secret. And I really took that.
So true.
I took that
So
really
true.
especially my growth period. I'm establishing myself in the industry. I've hit that 20,000 followers now. So I've got to that, quite a few of my milestones. So I might start to reel it in.
And do you know what? To be fair, because I feel exactly like you, I see everyone bombarding, oversharing, but and I got this from Kirsten as well. Even with marketing, when we were doing components of marketing, and I kept feeling like, I don't want to keep repeating it because. You don't want to sound like a broken record, but the truth of the matter is it takes people how many times?
27.
27 times to remember something.
Yeah.
So even when you share or I share, or
they forget about it.
They
They
forget
save
about
it.
it.
They don't
They
look at
save
it.
it and they don't, because it really, especially creative people, because we have like a storage thing of a 3-second fish.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which is true.
Gone. Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Or 80, everyone's got like
Yeah.
in creative space.
And it's a lot about execution too. So like with the broadcast channel, I guess I did share an idea, but I didn't share the execution of that idea. I've shared that exclusively to my subscribers. So
Right.
people have
I
to
like that.
subscribe
Yeah.
to actually learn how to use it properly. I still had plenty of people in my DMs wanting that for free, but I had to hold myself. I had to say, I've done a tutorial with my subscribers. It's $15. That is the entry level. It is a subscription, so monthly.
Yeah.
But it is a really good entry
that's just
level.
on Instagram.
That's
amazing.
Yeah. It's a bit of a love-hate relationship at the
Can we
moment.
talk
but-
about that? I didn't know you had that.
Yeah.
So what inside that subscription? Because that's really affordable.
Yes, yeah.
So you're putting even more.
Yeah.
learning pieces
So
in there. 2
long-form tutorials a month, which is
right.
actually quite minimal compared to what other hair educators are doing. But from a financial perspective for me, there's no way I can produce even more content at that price point. It's like a fringe trim.
For sure.
Like if someone's getting a
But I
fringe
think
trim for
that's a good
$15, what do they expect in value?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a good entry point to be able to say, here's
Yeah.
what I do, here's
Absolutely.
what I can offer.
Yeah.
If you want to learn more,
Yeah, it's got scalability.
It's got-
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
for
like
sure.
that.
Yeah, so like Kim from Boho Blonde, she's very open and transparent about it. She uses subscriptions and she makes a lot of money off
Wow,
it. She's got that scale because she's got quite a large
Following.
following, I think over 100K, I think.
Right.
And, even Instagram have flagged that she's doing so well that they interview her to be, the small business success story of using
Yeah, I love that.
subscriptions.
Amazing.
So if you're at that level, absolutely, it's a lovely passive-ish income. But it does, has its pros and cons. And that's, I do work with educators going through their options of whether they want to do that and go down that path, because there's definitely lots of educators who've decided not to because of, weighing up that list. It's actually...
it's a fine line, isn't
Yeah.
it?
How do you
can-
get
yeah.
to
Such a fun
subscription
line.
model?
What's the
it's
parameters? I think a minimum of 10,000 followers is the criteria,
right.
and that's about it.
That's
you just
it.
have to sign up and follow, give all your details away to Instagram. But, you know, getting
And
a paycheck from
committing to-
Instagram is pretty cool to see after
bet.
12 years.
For sure.
Yeah.
And think if you're committing to 2 long form videos, when you say long form, how long is long form?
About 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
Depending on what it
amazing.
is.
That's great value.
So then you also have broadcast channel.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't, for myself, I have a broadcast channel where I tease my exclusive subscriber content.
Yeah, fair.
So people
clever.
have subscribed to that, but then they need to pay to watch the video. But so from a salon perspective, do you want me to explain the
absolutely.
broadcast? So basically, this is about solving a problem that hairdressers have where they have gaps or last minute appointments, and we know that loses us money. And so the normal way people have tried to solve that problem is chuck it on a story. Now we know, you would all know, how many times do we tap past those stories and go, this is annoying, this is spammy, this isn't relevant to me. It's only talking to a very small audience. So again, one of the things I teach my clients is like your story strategy has to be like 0 regrams, 0 sales posts. Firstly, so
0
Interesting.
regrams.
Yep.
See,
Wow,
that's so
I like
fascinating
this.
that you say that, because I've been doing a couple of things with girls in America, and their philosophy, which it's good to challenge it because we all have different viewpoints,
Share
but their
heaps.
philosophy is never sell in feed, only sell in stories.
You can sell in stories, but via storytelling and, via you talking to the camera in an authentic way.
Okay.
So like, on my story right now, I'm promoting my next class
Sure.
in Adelaide.
So you
But,
mean more
yeah.
like conversational?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah. You've got to offer something different to your feed content. So sharing a regram is not different to, again, boring, tap past it.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving back to why the broadcast channel idea, it's so if we're over spamming in our stories and people just tapping past it, all my clients say their views are shocking on stories. So it's not working anyway, and we're just annoying people. So the idea is to create a broadcast channel where people who are interested in being on the wait list sign up to that, and you post in that broadcast channel, your availability and
like
last
that.
minute appointments.
Yeah.
So you're talking to an audience who want those messages, and you're getting them out of a place where people are tapping on your stories to engage and connect with you. They're not tapping on your stories to see your promotions.
Yeah.
So
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Love that.
Yeah.
So why is
Take
it
on
that
that.
some accounts don't have access to broadcast?
yeah, it's a real shame.
Yeah.
There's a few different criterias, but also I've gone through the list of all of those things, and some people still just don't have it. So it's a relatively new feature, and Instagram never launches a feature to everyone.
Right.
It always rolls it out over countries, over different accounts. I have a feeling it's got to do with if you're a heavy user too. I always
Okay,
seem to go
yeah.
to all the new features.
Yeah,
that's true.
But my recommendation's just to go tick the box first to see if something's missing in your settings or setup, is be on a creator, not a business. And obviously make sure you've got the latest Instagram installed. That's always just a simple thing you can check that you've updated the software in just the App Store.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they do updates all the time.
So not update it on your phone, as in the
Update it in the App
settings.
Store.
Update
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I never
yeah.
even thought.
Yeah,
Did you?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Or third option is to delete the app completely and
reset it.
reinstall. Because
Oh,
if it's just complete,
That's
that,
great
that can
advice.
help when things are just really glitching and not working.
Yeah.
Just flagging though, if you do delete the app, you lose your drafts. So
Yes. We've
make
been
sure,
there.
yeah,
We've been there.
it's pretty devastating, isn't it?
happens. But
So
if you set it to schedule, you don't lose anything. Like
even if you delete it, it's the schedule.
So if
I think
you-
the schedule would go as well.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
We didn't know
Yeah, because
that.
it's like all the
I thought the
all the
schedule-
data.
oh,
it's
that's
like
good
you
to
you're
know.
wiping all the data.
Because we thought
off the thing.
if you sometimes we get logged out of Instagram.
Yeah, yeah.
So if we're logged out and we log back in, we'll
Yeah.
lose our drafts, but we didn't think we lose the schedule.
Not for logging, just logging in and logging out's fine.
But switching
But
out,
deleting
got
the app off your phone
And then
and
putting it
reinstalling
back.
it, yes,
Ah, of
would definitely
course.
lose that stuff.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, but it can solve problems when you don't have features or things aren't working out. That can really help. But I have had people who've done all these steps, and unfortunately, they're just one of the accounts that hasn't got access to the feature yet.
Yeah.
But look, it's a trial and error. See if it works. Have you ever
Mm.
had clients say that yes, it has? I'm sure there's others that hasn't worked for. I don't want to encourage this behaviour of like everyone's doing it, I've got to do it. That's not what I'm trying to do. And I did feel a bit of pressure, I guess, after it took off so much and everyone was replying saying, Ash, you did this. And the side comments of the kind of the insecure hairdresser who would be like, oh, it's so, when they get angry at stuff because they don't want to follow. And I understand that because I hate that feeling. I hate following trends. It annoys me when I feel pressured to do something. I get it.
You're just giving a different opinion. It's up to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow everyone's opinion and feedback.
Yeah, and the whole concept of this, it's got nothing to do with other hairdressers. Like the broadcast channel is for your wait list for your clients.
Yeah, to make it.
Who cares if you see other hairdressers popping up? I don't even know why we follow so many hairdressers anyway.
I think I get it where people might get a little bit weird about it if they don't have access to the broadcast.
Yeah, it would upset them.
And then it'll be like, well, I'm disadvantaged because I can't have that option.
Yeah. And makes sense. I can understand that frustration.
For sure.
So the power of influence you had in that post. Right. Did you realise it would have? No. Did you notice that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Actually.
I think because on my business page we obviously follow a lot of hair and beauty salons, and I'm like, wow, Ash, you've just put this post out within 2 hours. I'm getting all these.
Yeah. But this is what
it was great.
You've also taught me as well, and I think everyone is. Not that I'm afraid to put myself out there. I'm just afraid that I'm going to insult someone or hurt someone or maybe be a little bit judged because I've got a very indifferent opinion.
Yeah.
But I think this is what we need to share as an industry, as humans.
Yes.
And guess what? It's actually good to have debates and other opinions because how are we to learn?
Yeah.
If we don't ever debate or have an opposing opinion that's different to ours.
What did you say about opinions the other day?
What did I say? A lot of things that I can't remember.
You said the other day about, someone could give you their opinion. I think I shared that with you.
That. Actually,
you went, that thing you shared. I went, no, I'm always sharing.
I had one of my partners in America reach out and she actually asked, does getting feedback from people ever get easier? And I said, honestly, it kind of depends where, I feel like I'm at a healing place in my journey. It depends where you are on your journey.
Yeah.
But Kirsten sent me this really powerful message and it was someone speaking about feedback. So we've spoken about it, how hairdressers, people, humans, friends, interactions, you've got to be so careful because everyone takes things in their own perspective or how they want to take it. But the reality is be open to the feedback and you don't have to, if someone's giving you feedback, you don't have to go, oh, I'm going to go change that about myself. I'm not going to go change it about my social media on every single thing. I think you just got to be a bit more, what's the word, observant and light-headed or what's that word? Like more, just have a different perspective on it and then assess whether if you're scaling back what you want to stand for, it doesn't mean that you have to make every single change.
No.
Right?
Yeah. It's trying to learn not to take things to heart.
It's trying to take things not to heart. But if you close yourself off is what we're saying is completely and even for other hairdressers who are scared to put themselves out there, like you said, you never know how it's going to land and you can't please everyone.
No.
But when you're speaking your truth and you know that it's going to help someone, you can't stop it either.
Yeah. And I think it is a huge struggle for people when, I say you need to be, show yourself in the camera, you need to show up in your socials. Huge part of what I believe is a winning strategy. But taking that leap is very challenging for some people.
So daunting.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually, I've been busting to want to ask you this question because as a brand, building yourself to me is a lot more scarier, putting your personality out there because I'm like, I know I've got a great product. I know I've got something that's amazing. Can't they just like my product? Why do they have to like me as well? Because it's so scary that if they don't like my opinions or they don't like what I'm saying, which has happened to me in friendship circles because I'm quite strong and I'm quite, like I can be like tunnel vision if I like something or believe in something. Doesn't mean I expect people around me to believe it, but they will often hate you for it. Like you get so much, do you know what I mean? That's what's been for me. What's the difference between building a brand and how much of yourself should you be showing? Because I know now we speak about it with my team as well. They're like, people like to see, and I'm like, but are they just being nosy? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are being nosy.
Yeah.
But you get what I mean? Can I just say, like with brands, like you have a look at all the old school brands like Chanel and Louis Vuitton, like you don't even know who the person is behind the brand.
Yeah, so when it comes to a business where you're a small business and service-based, absolutely no way you cannot show up as a person. If you are touching,
she's like fighting it.
You're touching someone's head though. As a hairdresser touches someone's head.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to show up. Like, there's absolutely No denying that. There's
So
baby
it's not really
steps,
about the work, it's about combining the two.
But think about someone trying to decide what hairdresser they want to go to. Absolutely. They think this person's going to be touching my head. So what do they look like? Do I like their vibe? Will I like where I'll be sitting? Will I enjoy the appointment? Spending, 300, 400, a lot of money
sure.
now. So
They
they've
have
got
to
that
connect.
right.
It's about the connection is
Yeah,
what.
yeah,
right?
absolutely. And it doesn't have to be as far as sharing an opinion about, anything. That's probably, where you're at that stage where I think you're long past already doing all that other stuff. But the baby steps is just visually showing up in snippets, whether it's just your hands or taking a little bit further back. You don't have to talk to the camera.
You don't have to. That's a good point. And I think, even what we've spoken about is like you only really have to have a 5-second reel, 7-second
clip.
reel
Yeah.
clip of you, and then you put your
words over it.
words
Hooks
over it.
Yeah.
I feel like if hairdressers or even business owners could accept that, which I think I'm like 80% there.
You're good.
That I'm really not. Like, I
You're
still
good.
struggle with it. Thank you.
And I'm like at ground zero. I'm happy to write captions and put beautiful graphics together.
But you're so good on, like, isn't she?
But, and like, again, it's more. I'm more specifically talking to service based, place where a client sees a human and sits in a physical place.
Okay.
It's essential.
That's your social branding. Your branding is not a Canva tile in sage green or pastel pink.
So true.
Yeah.
The triggers when someone is scrolling through their feed is, that's my hairdresser. I can see her. Or, that's the salon I go to. They're the visual triggers. That's social branding.
Okay.
Consistency in that is going to get people to stop their thumb and look. I guarantee if you look just even at the likes, you don't even have to look at the insights, just the likes of any Canva tiles you've done on Instagram.
They don't do well.
Like, they don't even get double digits.
No.
It looks like an ad.
It's
People
so
don't
true.
even could realise that it's their hairdresser that they love. They just go, it's an ad, scroll past.
So true. And I think
yeah.
also we've gone out of, even with my own team, we're like, it just has to look pretty, it has to look so curated.
Aesthetic, yes.
The
Yeah.
aesthetics, because
Yeah.
everyone's got that
Yeah.
attention to detail. But
It doesn't
really
matter anymore.
It
No.
doesn't really matter,
No.
which I think should be,
Yeah,
it should make it a lot easier to put,
absolutely.
like you say, organic.
Yeah. The only person looking
content
at your grid
is
like
you.
that is you. Yes, when someone first discovers you, you want to, make sure it's impressive in that first glance. So there's optimized bio, having pinned posts, that's really important. Even a good profile picture is really important. But scrolling down to look at your 9 grid and going, do I like it? Does it look balanced? The conversation is you having that mostly.
And then do you feel like in saying that someone that is building a brand, I guess they should still need to be very careful about what personal opinions. It has to be educational related instead of overstepping and putting your personal opinions on things.
It's up to you. I think obviously the brave and the bold seem to get favoured. I think that Stephen Bartlett really talked about that being like a industry shifter. I think. Carl in my class was telling my last class about it. So it was obviously a point that really struck to him. But that's playing at another level. Like my clients are usually when I ask them their goals, it's not wanting to be famous or become a famous hairdresser. It's about bums on seats. So I'm prioritising all our content around, yes, education, but educating the client, not other hairdressers. You can do a little bit of that.
See, I feel like there's a lot of the other thing going on where we hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Like everyone wants to be educators these days.
Yes, yeah.
Everyone wants to be influencers these
Yeah.
days. Everyone just
Yeah.
wants to go viral these days.
Yeah, it's always going to be a bit of the the carrot of like the social media in itself. That's a part of I guess the addictiveness of it.
I'm like, careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Oh
As
yeah.
well.
Yeah. Like when you go viral, you get haters. It's not nice. But
I feel like if you got haters,
Yeah.
like I'm at that point, I'm like waiting for one to show
Yeah.
up because I'm like,
Really?
yeah. Because now when you know that you've done the work to get to where you've gone and you're doing it with intention, you don't get affected. I feel like if you're just putting it out there just to cause chaos,
Yeah.
it's going to probably hit different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whereas now I will take it as an opportunity because I often ask myself, and we've had a couple people, but I always say to the team, just respond with an education, like take it as an opportunity to get content. And it's also like with reviews, it's how you respond.
Yeah.
That can turn them from haters into fans, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think TikTok is probably more of that grey
Yes.
area
Yeah.
where they're
Yeah.
a little bit more savage.
Yes, definitely.
Do you know? And I've put myself out there when I was like 15, 20 kilos heavier, and the girls put video up there. Normally I'll be like, take it down. But I was like, leave it.
Yeah.
Like if people go for it, and you just got to be in a really good mental headspace to be able to handle it.
Yeah. And I always think, like, when I show up on socials, I'm not showing up to try and look good.
No,
I'm showing up
to create value.
to teach, to share. I'm showing up for my clients, my potential clients. Like, it's got nothing to do with actually me.
For sure.
So,
you know, that I love what you just said, because
Yeah.
I went and like did some NLP when
Yeah.
I got hypnotherapy over it, because that's what would calm me down even now because I'm fine in education, in classes, on stage, but my fear to this day is if you had to put me on stage with a microphone or a camera, I just turn it, like I start sweating.
Yeah.
But I have to talk myself. That's my inner talk that I have. I'm like, you're not here for you. You're here to help other people.
So, Ash, if you were going to give advice on a salon to have 3 tools in their hand or at their disposal to create good content, what would it be?
I would tell them to check their phone settings first and what they're filming on. So the tool would be the phone and setting that up correctly.
So the latest iPhone or
I would, well,
Controversial.
again, it's so like I don't want to have a really strong opinion on this, but just based
Just
on
saying, no Samsungs.
definitely no Samsungs. I'm happy to say that. So sorry, no Samsungs, iPhone, but the 15 is not good at capturing blondes for some people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Even if you change the
That's
setting.
the that's the
For some
latest
people.
Oh,
phone.
damn it. I just
Yeah.
got a 15 plus.
But I've seen phones where they've showed me their blondes and it's beautiful, and I've seen phones where they've showed me it and it's so obviously.
Hang on, with the same
great.
15
With the
plus?
same
Yes,
settings.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
Vlad actually
So
went...
it also, I guess your natural light factors are coming in.
Yeah.
there
Of
too.
course.
So
It's funny that you
yeah.
say that, because the other day we did a social media class and we had Emma Sorensen and she had the phone and she was like, I should
hate
fuck
it.
this phone.
Yeah.
And Vlad went in and did a couple of settings
Yeah.
and she was like, oh, she
It's
said it was
better?
only for photos, not videos.
Yes, yeah, video, absolutely. Like, I can't wait to get a new phone for video, but I am cautious about the photos, more so blondes. But I'll always have a second phone.
Hang
so
on, do
yeah,
they offer
I know that.
refunds within...
Yeah, no, I've
7
had a
days?
client return a phone.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's look.
I'm hanging on
But
to my
everyone's
14.
give it a proper test.
Okay,
You know,
so
have
phone
some
with
blonde.
settings.
Yeah, have a blonde model and give it a proper test before you make a decision. So phone settings. So
Yep.
your tool is your phone. Then a tripod, something that you're not embarrassed to whip out. Like, end of the day, people think tools are going to be your quick fix. You need to do the work. You need to do the work with me.
Yeah.
Always the way.
That's what's going to move the needle.
Yeah.
So, yes, you can get a tripod, but will you use it? Are you going to, in front of the client where you're already feeling obviously awkward about taking content, are you going to whip out this huge giant thing with a big ring light and be like, just taking some content? All of those ring light tripods are in the back room covered in dust because no one brings them out.
anymore.
So,
I remember when they were a thing.
yeah.
You don't want to know what I got the other day. My team...
Oh, I know, your neck tripod.
I was
yeah.
so dizzy.
Yeah.
I was like, can you show me after you use it?
Okay.
I was like, this
Yeah.
thing, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
And what's the third thing?
So third thing would be a suction phone case.
Yes, that's
Oh,
the
I've
best.
got one of them.
Yeah. Look, and again,
Yes.
the tools aren't going to solve everything. So
Yeah.
these
Just help.
these are good for stories content. You do not keep it stuck on your mirror for the whole service. It will fall off.
Yeah.
Like people
Yeah,
are like,
they
it
really
falls
do.
off. I'm like,
Yeah.
of course it does. It's just some little suction bubble.
And do you know, like,
bubbles.
I've done that
for
with
$2.
with the tripod stands when the girls are busy. Once you get used to it,
Yeah.
it just becomes, it alleviates that that stress.
Yeah.
While you're actually, because
Yeah.
when you're physically doing the client and thinking of this, thinking of what
Yeah.
colour,
Yeah.
it can get, which leads me to my next question. Can you also share some tips that will help? I guess so many stylists are feeling so overwhelmed
Yeah.
with social media. What
Yeah.
are your tips to help alleviate that?
So going back and looking at what your content process is at the moment, thinking about what resources you have available. If you do have a team, can you sit down, do some training and say, my apprentices, you need to take this content for the seniors. This is a part of your role now.
Correct.
It really depends on the individual, because I work with an individual stylist from the UK to a team of 10 in Adelaide. So it's always going to be tailored to the person. But if you want to make a change, you need to look at what you're doing now. And most of the time, a part of that change requires time. So where are we going to find that time? How are we going to give you that time to either learn the skills, edit better, create more content with certain clients, or do content days? What is the realistic solution to finding that time to do those things? Yeah.
And this is another important question, because again, I'll go back and forth on this, is do you create the content, or does it actually get better reach if you create the content organically, like you showed me in Instagram? Because if you create it in a third-party app like CapCut, apparently Instagram doesn't favour.
It's not so much the edited video. You can do that in the third party. I do all mine in InShot. Where you can lose engagement is if you use fonts that aren't native to the platform you're on. So for Instagram, you need to use Instagram fonts. For TikTok, you should use TikTok fonts, because people trust authentic looking in the moment content. If you have got this fancy cursive, elaborate branded text, it doesn't look native to the platform. It looks more like an ad. So a lot of my recommendations come back to what Instagram is always about, and it's in the moment, real life content.
So true.
And sometimes, yes, it's still orchestrated, but it needs to look authentic. And this is even going to be more important into the future. And this is a bit of a scary concept, but it's absolutely happening right now and going to continue to happen, is like AI. So ChatGPT, AI Facetune, AI, editing apps, AI to record your own voice.
New AI feature on Instagram.
Yes, Meta AI,
which is so annoying.
So it's just ChatGPT inbuilt inside Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually going to be handy.
It is.
Yeah, but
at the moment, because we don't know how to use it, it's like, I just want my search tool back.
Yeah, but it's all about keeping you in the app. I don't have to jump out of Instagram and go into my ChatGPT to write a caption. I can ask Instagram to write me a caption.
Connected to Chat, or it's a completely different platform?
It's just like you tap on it, and I only just tried it this morning.
Yeah.
Tried it this morning, but you tap on it just like a little messenger inside the app.
Right.
And when it comes to hairdressers, you don't want another app. You don't want another thing, another step.
Yeah.
So it's going to be successful.
I think this is where it is. Yeah, interesting.
But yeah, to that point, the more and more artificial intelligence there is, we're already so skeptical about what we see. Did that person really make that, or did their team make that? Did that person write that caption, or did ChatGPT? It's going to get to the point where we'll be like, did that person do that hair, or was it an AI picture?
Yeah.
But you know what you can't fake? You. You
true.
cannot artificially intelligent yourself. So the only way people are actually what they're going to trust on Instagram or TikTok is seeing humans. Because that's real. And that's why you have to
So
get
the
on
ones
board.
standing, you say, are the ones that just get out in front of it?
Yeah. They can pepper their content with,
Of course,
like captions that have been, helped with ChatGPT, or let's be honest, Facetune. That's what happens sometimes. Some people do that. Like, you can still do those things, but the thing that's going to still show up and not people aren't, the consistency of their account is a human.
Here's another point. It's true, because even when we've used ChatGPT and I teach someone else to use it and they write it, and I'm like, I can tell it's not you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
you
use it to help, but don't rely on it.
If you get lazy with the
have your
tools,
voice.
people just know.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's any of these solutions, you still have to get a bit uncomfortable and you have to use your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
I will always try to give you as many tools to get you as close as you need to not have to think, but you're going to still have to think a little. And that's the beauty of like the human mind. It's the reason why we're attracted to it.
I guess this, because I'm so fascinated. Every time I'm with you, you come up with the best. I'm like, how the fuck does she come up? Because that's what you do, right? So whereas with me, someone might look at me with hair creations and be like, how the hell? So I guess it's the same thing. But where do you draw your inspiration? Do you literally come up with things on your own? Do you have, where do you get your inspiration from?
I think I have a very visual brain, and I like to visualize a storytelling or storyboard something. Like I obviously get references here and there and get inspired by things on TikTok, Instagram, but I hate when I see something quite a lot and then go, damn it, why didn't I act on it when I first saw it? So I try not to really reference too much. It's more just my brain likes to visualize. And I think as a marketer, I've always been fascinated and a bit obsessed with making things look more authentic. So, you know, even if I go back to like when I was at Westfield, you know, as the marketing assistant, I'll get a forwarded email from the marketing manager saying, Muffin Break want us to promote their, you know, coffee and muffin deal. Here's the asset. And it's this shitty tile with a Photoshop muffin with huge amounts of text saying $5. And I'm like, nah, I'm not using that on Instagram. I'm going down to the shop, to the Muffin Break, and I'm making them make me a coffee and a muffin, and I will take a photo of that to promote it. And that is what people will actually look at, read the message and go, oh, yeah, yum, that looks good. They're not going to connect with an ad.
It's so true. That's something that you've helped me with is when you came here, had a little lesson with you and you just put this video together, and that storytelling was really the most powerful thing, and the overlay of photo, because no one wants to sit there. I recorded, I can share that. I recorded, what was it, something about, you know, if you're a salon owner or you want to have a salon, and here are three things three things that I recommend. And I did this boring long ass video.
It wasn't boring. You're still way ahead because you were talking to the camera. You'd already taken that step to make, you haven't written like a big paragraph in something and posted that. You've still done a great step in making it come from a human.
But do you want to say how you, like what you did was genius and how you added those overlays?
Yeah. So it's just the fact that our attention spans are terrible. Like
they're getting worse and worse.
Yeah. And, you know, COVID didn't help at all. So people, and we are visual people, so we want to hear a story visually, not just hear the words of it. So when you're saying team culture is an important part about opening a salon, we need to see a picture that represents team culture in the background. So it just helps. It's like multi-layered education. It's visual education. Even the colorists, if you look at colorists who are doing really well on Instagram or TikTok, they are visually demonstrating their technique to the point where they draw lines on specific points where, you know, the placement is, or freeze the frame when they really want someone to, you know, notice that particular point. So it is a lot more sophisticated, but it's also just thinking, how do I get my point across? And how would I want to learn this? Like how could I tell this story or this tip visually that I would be able to be like, oh yeah, I get that. I can see your point now.
Because there's so many, like I don't really go down rabbit holes. I never have on social media, like to watch you do. I go more down rabbit holes with like conspiracy theories. I love world issues. But it was so funny. A couple of weeks ago, I couldn't sleep at night. And I started watching this guy. He popped up. Have you seen that guy, Color by Carlos or something?
Yes, yeah.
Have you seen him? And I was like in bed cackling. Like I woke up my husband because he's like, why are you shaking the bed? Like it was actually so funny.
Yeah, he's very good at hairdresser humour.
Well, it's funny because I spoke to, because I have a staff member, a new team member who's American. And she was saying it's actually really funny because a lot of the funny ones in America, what happens is in America, because hairdressing, when they're learning or coming out of school, it's a different system to here. So a lot of them have to have a side job to make the money. So she said a lot of them that she knows of that are doing really well on social media over there, they're either studying, like he was Color, what is his
Carlos,
name? Color by Carlos. He was like studying, his side job was in theatre. So they were doing,
that helps.
So, and a lot of the big ones that you see, they're like, oh my God, they're so amazing on social media. They're actually, done singing, acting, theatre. And I'm like, maybe that's what we should enroll. They've got an advantage. That makes so much sense.
I like unpacking that though, because then you go, okay, that's not realistic for me. I don't need to be that.
But it makes sense when you know it and you don't have that pressure. You're like, that's cool. That's why.
And on him, like absolutely hilarious, so much fun for the industry, but none of his content is really appropriate for clients to see.
Yeah, so true.
True.
That's why when he did it, I was like, it's so entertaining.
Yeah, so young stuff might be like, hey, that's a funny video, let's do it. Would your client like to be called a Karen? Would your client like to be to see that you're the one that rocks up late?
But he can get away with it. Imagine
because he's industry. He's an industry-facing account. My account's industry-facing. I'm talking to a hairdresser. You always need to think about who you're talking to, really,
for
and
sure.
what are the things that they say in the chair that they want help with. That's all your content ideas right there. Like when they're saying, oh, I wish I could style my hair like you.
Yeah, take
Get
that
in
as
front
a
of the
hook.
camera, do a little tutorial. My most requested, tutorial on how I, curl my hair, my bangs. Done.
Just simple.
Yeah.
Keep
yeah.
it simple.
Absolutely.
So we've got a few questions, Ash, although we've thrown a few at you already.
Yes.
We could chat to her all
We
day,
could
couldn't
chat all
we?
day.
So I'm going to pull one out. What trends do you see emerging in social media marketing for the hair industry?
Yeah, we've covered a lot of them.
Yeah.
So short term, what's working right now, well, definitely that broadcast channel that we've covered a lot. But in line with that too, less stories. So if you take on board this broadcast channel recommendation, it goes really hand in hand with posting less stories.
Yeah. So I've read like one story a day.
Yeah, that's
is all you need.
Wow.
Instead of like some accounts, those, like there's this woman in
just
America,
tap through.
she's in fashion, and
Yeah.
she would have 50 stories a day,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
tap.
So and again, if you're looking at your views, it doesn't take too long. You just tap open and see your views.
Right.
Just trial it. Do 1 week where you just do one story per day and
Yeah.
check out your views because they'll be like triple,
Really?
like double to triple your normal views. So I've been doing one story per day since January this year, and I think my average views now is about 1,500 thousand, and I think the highest that I keep getting like breaking kind of my own records, I guess, of like the latest highest viewed story has been 4,000 views. So it's working. And then there's been a couple of days where I've broken that rule. Like I had a class in Sydney and I wanted to reshare, and there's quite a lot of buzz about that. But if I actually look at the views of any of the stories past my first story,
It drops.
we get down to like 200.
So I was going to ask you that. So
Wow.
what happens when you have, because we have so many stockers
Yeah.
tagging
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Look, it's a challenge in terms of like, especially in our industry, we're empaths. You want to show thank you for the reshare, thank you for the recognition. Absolutely, I get it.
So
it
you're
might
saying
not-
reshare is included in the one story.
Yeah. So it might not long term, and I don't know if this will work forever, but it's definitely working right now.
Okay.
So I would make sure
Definitely
that
takes the pressure off too, though.
yeah, absolutely. Focus on your feed content, just one story,
Back
one
to
good
that.
story,
One
Yeah.
story a day?
Yeah,
One
So
story a day
yeah.
and one feed post a day?
Well, I only do three feed posts a week. I've got a
Really?
2-year-old. I work 4 days a week. That's what is sustainable for me.
So
Absolutely,
good that
I'd like
you
to
say
do
that,
more,
because we
but
had
that's
this
what I do.
conversation in house this
Yeah.
week, because everyone will tell you again something
Has a
different.
different opinion.
Yeah, and everyone was saying like, if you're also building a brand, it's a little bit different to if
Yeah.
you're building your personal.
Yeah.
A brand should be putting out 2-3 stories.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's got
2 a
time
day.
for that?
Yeah. People with teams. And
Yeah.
there are leaders in our
But you don't
industry
think,
that have,
even if because
Yeah.
we do have the
Yeah.
team, and in
Yeah.
saying that,
Yeah.
do you think we should try it, or do you think also people get like they get being overexposed?
Yeah, I think for your niche, maybe not. I think for the colouring, if for colourists, I think they can get away with it because they just like, it's almost just documenting their day and just posting on the go. Well, that's really like flipping the strategy. Like that's what, some big colourists do is literally they have a team behind them, they document their day and as the day goes, they just post what's happening. So it's like this rolling kind of machine. But that's not for everyone. I think certain personalities only can really do that and be that present online.
That's true.
Which is amazing for them, but it doesn't suit everyone. Like, especially if you have children, you can't.
hard.
You don't want to be documenting your 5 a.m. wake up in your, pajamas. Like, it's just not the vibe. But it's not worth sharing.
Like, funny that you say
Yeah,
that, because
yeah.
there are some brands. Who was telling me the other day?
Yeah.
They were driving to the salon and, like you said, or they're driving somewhere. Who was telling me? And it was a brand, and they were in their pajamas and doing something, and it's like
full on.
It's a bit
I get
full
worried
on.
people can have a car crash when they do their car. I don't mind it, and I'm like, I should do that. I just don't have the setup, and it's just not a priority. But yeah.
But I think what you're saying, if you're going to show up, it's got to be
Yeah.
intentional and
Yes.
be realistic.
Yeah. So one story a day, give it a go. Or at least even when they say one story a day, at least it gets you in the brain of doing less stories and being a bit more strategic about what you reshare. In terms of support, like not being able to support, you can always tell them, say, I love this. We're not resharing at the moment because we're trying this new strategy. And they'll be like, ooh, what are you doing? You know, you can give them a lot of love in the DM reply and do not have to reshare. I know, I agree that it can feel like, oh, I'm going to be offending someone by not resharing. So I get that's a bit of an issue, and maybe it's more about doing one unique story and then a few reshares at the end of your, you know,
day.
End of your day or the end of that 24-hour period. But it's just an idea, and it does help with reach, and it helps with your workload. And it just helps you
and it helps
how
you
to
create really good content.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of just putting something up for the sake of it.
Stay out of Canva.
Yes. And you're posting your availability, because you'll do that in your broadcast channel. The other one that's working really well at the moment is what I'd call a looping reel, and we did touch on that before. So there's 3 words you could have heard before. It's got a looping reel, a B-roll reel, or a word wall reel. They're basically all the same thing, and it's more about one little snippet of footage and then using a lot of words or hooks to put a message over the top of that video.
Okay.
Right.
So lately, like the last 3 months, I've had really good success of these, lots of like viral videos of this. So it's educational, it's sharing a tip, but it's not so much, it's a nice complementary visual in the background. So background B-roll videos, that's where that comes in. And the looping comes in because you rewatch it to reread it.
Okay, so you're taking the video with your phone. I need to break this down.
Yes. Yep.
And then you're loading it into a InShot cart.
Yep.
And then the captions you're doing in Instagram.
Yes. So it's not a caption, it's a text overlay over the video.
But you do that in Instagram.
Yeah, do that in Instagram.
So it's
and
3 steps.
Yeah, and you try to, those words that you put on, the type of words that we want to do a hook. So
and then a trending sound.
Yeah, definitely. That's a huge part of how it can really go off.
Yeah.
So, and especially that's probably a good plug just for the hooks, is that I've got over 100 hook document that's only $49 on my website.
How do you access that on your website?
Yeah. It's in my link in my bio. Even if you DM me the word hook, I've got a little automated system that you can send
mini
chat. I do.
And our questions just popped up. Can I just ask one thing with third-party scheduling things, like say later, because we were looking at that the other day. Now, aesthetically, everything else, it looks amazing. This was our only question, because you can schedule it, which is amazing, but then you can't put a trending sound on it. Where do you sit with that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've had a lot of those companies contact me to work with them, but I've had to say no, because I don't believe it's a tool that will help you grow.
Really?
Yeah. So Instagram brought out its own scheduling tools. So that tells me straight away Instagram wants you to do it inside Instagram.
But say someone like Kirsten who's running an agency and is managing someone's account, and they schedule it in Instagram, and then for some reason they log out of it, like what we were saying, or they don't. What happens? Yeah. How do you get around that?
Yeah. So for an agency model, you need a third party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And remember, when we're talking broader businesses being on Instagram, the main objective for some businesses shouldn't be that vanity metric of how many followers. It's having a presence. It's having a quick glance going, yes, I like them, I choose them. So scheduling.
Stop worrying about.
Scheduling can be sufficient for lots of different industries, to get the objectives they want out of social media. And then advertising is really the real thing that really drives it. So, but in our industry, I don't believe scheduling
just
is the best. Yeah. And look, the Instagram scheduler is glitchy as anything. It sucks. I'm sorry, but
I didn't even have it available
on
so it's not available on all accounts yet still.
Yeah.
It wasn't available on our business account for a long time.
Yeah. Because again, newish feature.
That's it. Yeah. And I did do that. We actually did delete it and log in and it came. Worked.
That's good. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so looping videos, definitely give that a go, and they're really easy to make. Because you don't need to stitch together much footage. You just find a little, 3 seconds that you like in your camera roll. Use my hook document, copy, paste your hook in there, give it your own little spin, because it has to be authentic and actually be your words. Give your tip spin in there, and then get your trending audio, and you're done.
Put it on.
Yeah, it's it's not like having to record a voiceover or come with me, to the salon. They're all great pieces of content, but this is quicker to do and definitely has a viral, viral tendencies. So I think my last one, not all of them go off, but some of them will. Like I think I've got like 500 new followers from one just recently.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so there's something
here
to
I am
it.
saying, don't worry about followers, don't worry about...
Well, no, the other metrics are all really great.
Of course, of course. Where do you also see TikTok going in our industry?
Yeah. It's not going to go away. I kind of wish it would.
Yeah, I was going to say, they've been saying, that's why I'm like, any minute, any day, they're going to say they're going to shut that app down.
It's like intimidating to me.
It really is
it is. And I struggle with that too. Like I am definitely an Instagram first strategist, user, all of that. I'm not going to ignore that it's not important. I think the skills of knowing how to create great video content, visual content, is still learning that. You can apply that to either Instagram or TikTok. It's just which one will you prioritize? And if you're gonna do it, you need your own strategy for it.
Yeah, and a separate strategy.
Yeah. Yep. Or the other solution is a program called repurpose.io, which automatically, without lifting a finger, repost your reel to your TikTok without any watermarks. So great set and forget. You won't grow off it, but you'll maintain a presence without having to lift a finger. It does cost $300, I think, a year, but it is a good solution of like, we know we need to be on there, but we just forget to post, or we don't know how to post something without the watermarks and all of that. So that's been a good solution for people who want to be present on there.
Wow.
And then also, what are some wins that you've had for your clients recently?
Ooh, recently. So, what are the ones that I'm very lucky. I get a lot of just replies in my DMs or after content days. I get a lot of like gratitude and really happy and excited about how great their salon looks, or the videos are like those really great branding pieces. So they've got that longevity and something they've got to pin. So I think getting that feedback ongoing is amazing. And I guess one of my UK clients, he's had really good growth, and he's been very kind to share on socials that, I was a part of that reason he's had that growth. I think he got from 6,000 followers to now 15,000 followers.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's kind of shared that online, which has been lovely, and I've done a few like client posts around that. And then I've also had a client who, I helped them make a really nice brand awareness piece of content, which then they advertise, and they got 30 new clients overnight from it.
That's crazy.
I know.
Really?
30 new clients?
Just from a organic post?
Wow.
Yeah. No, she boosted it. I know you're probably going to hate that. But that's
okay if they've got the right audience.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. So, getting that was, that's a really nice, tangible win, isn't it? They're financially got
amazing.
30 new appointments.
Crazy.
That's amazing. So, yeah, it comes in varying scales, I guess, wins. I think a win can just be when I see a client that's just started with me get in front of the camera and do a story talking. I'm like, yay, you did it.
I love that. That's a big win for someone that doesn't put themselves
The most
out
common
there.
win would be seeing their reach increase.
Nice.
So looking at their professional dashboard and they'd be like, shit, this is working. Like my reach is doubled, tripled.
Yeah.
That's usually the first kind of, feedback I get.
Have you got a target for reach with
for
their
clients?
accounts? Yeah.
Oh, it would vary for who they are.
Yeah.
This is so many. It really depends where they're at. But if you make those simple changes, I think of like showing up a bit more, showing more BTS, being more consistent in doing that, I think you're guaranteed to
definitely,
at
like
least
you say,
double.
it's a consistency. Yeah.
So on that note, how do people work with you?
Yeah, so depending where you're located, that's a big part of it. But from an online perspective, I have online one-on-one coaching. I have an online course as well, and I'm about to launch. I'm launching on Monday. I'm filming on Monday a second course, so I'm building up that suite. So for online, you've got that option of doing one-on-one, customizable, tailored to you, or you've got the option of go at your own pace, pre-recorded, modulated learning. And then if you're looking for more face-to-face, I can do those strategy sessions face-to-face. Basically, if you're in Australia, I would go overseas.
You still
if someone would
travel?
have me. Yeah, absolutely. Or a salon workshop. So salon workshops are usually more around getting your team aligned and inspired to create the same the content that you want for your salon social media.
Amazing.
And so, yeah, I travel a lot to do that, or just general content creation, because, I guess that's a bit different to me than other coaches. Is I am a content creator. I guess a phone videographer I've turned into.
And you're a /stylist as well. You had to learn how to style their hair.
I thought Ash was a
right.
stylist.
Yeah.
See, your hair always looks amazing.
No, but even in the content, when she came in, 'cause she went
Like I've got to get my hands in there, and you know, if
so do you actually curl, like you teach people? You
I
get a
don't.
stylist
No,
to-
I won't
No,
actually
okay.
curl the hair,
So
but
you
I
just
will
show
be
the
like
shapes.
yes, shapes and
Shapes.
foundations.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
of course, the big buzz thing that every hairdresser wants to do is create better hair content of the work they've done. And fundamentally, I think I always try to bring that back to, like, how have you styled the hair? You cannot just blast it off and then do a tong. Blasting off does not give you that airy root volume that you need for a great shot. And tonging hair, every client can pretty much do that now.
Of course.
So what are we offering them?
Dyson Airwrap.
Yeah, yes, that's why. But that's why that's taken off.
Yeah.
So we need to be aware of that and be making sure our services add that extra thing of, oh, I can't do this. This is why I go here. And also, it's going to make your shots amazingly better. Absolutely. Yeah.
So all information about how to work with you is on your website?
Yes.
Which is?
Website. So ashleybailey.consulting. Or my Instagram, Social Coach Ash, all linked in the bio as well.
Amazing. And what we're going to do is drop all your links in our references underneath as well. But we're so grateful to have
thank
you. We were
you.
like waiting for you to come on.
I always get so inspired. Now I want to go back to my office and play,
We covered a lot.
play.
I feel
We
like you
covered a
guys,
lot.
you really
did.
digged into the right questions.
Yeah.
And I hope the listeners
Hope they
lots
got
out
some
of it.
value.
Yeah.
Likewise. Thank you so much
My
for coming,
pleasure.
Ash.
Always love being here. Thanks, girls.
See you.